Ooh, welcome back to your Idiot League Mates. All right, Wednesday morning, week 12 waiver wires are about to run. We got about 2 minutes. This is not a drill. 2 minutes until the most loaded waiver wire of all time runs through. I got Joe, Nick, and J-Mo on the couch with me today.
Speaking early on that loaded, I just dropped a bag.
Did you? You need a quarterback?
I'm saying 3's not enough.
3, yeah.
3 full-time starters.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we're going to make predictions, does Tommy Cutlets just get the bag this week because he's a presumed starting quarterback?
He's got a good matchup versus Tampa. Sexy needs a QB. Adam could still use a QB. Nick could use a QB.
Could you?
I'm not going. My bid.
Oh, Gut definitely needs a QB.
Gut definitely
Holy
needs
shit.
a QB.
I do because
Gut's got to spend $90, right?
Probably.
I feel like DeVito's not a dude.
But remember, he doesn't have Burrow or Mac.
Like, he's literally
That's fair.
playing Desmond Ridder at the
Nah, you're
quarterback
right,
spot.
you're right.
Super flex.
Okay.
Regardless.
He might go for a little.
Should I up
Especially
my offer real quick?
with people with a lot of fab.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to bump it up.
Like I have Minshew to fill in for my bye quarterback, but he's playing Denver. I'm probably better off not even playing him this week as my QB2.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough call.
This is such a tough week because there's 6 teams on bye and the waiver wire is so bad. So it's like you can't even really get reinforcement help.
Yeah. What's the chance that Tommy DeVito finishes the season? You think he's, like, good for the rest of the games, or you think we see Drew Lock?
It's going to come down to him winning.
Man, I don't even know. I mean, if it's about winning, like, wouldn't Daniel Jones still be in there?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm saying if he is winning, he'll keep the job.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I can't imagine we see 0 of Drew Lock the rest of the season. I kind of feel like because their O-line's so bad, there's going to be a game where, like, he gets sacked 9 times, throws fucking 2 or 3 picks, and comes out.
Why isn't Drew Lock playing? Is he hurt? They just like skipped
He's
over
hurt,
him?
and he might actually just be that bad.
Really?
It's sus out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, they gave him, like, $5 million to be the backup. I feel like at this point, you're not playing him because, like, he's probably just that bad.
$5 million to sit on the bench? Sign me up.
DeVito's got like $800,000, like that Brock Purdy money.
Yeah.
Just
Facts.
nothing.
All right, well, let's just get right into the wire. All right, so
Dub!
Tommy DeVito
Dub!
ends up going to JMO for 50
Y'all
big
doubted.
There you go. Adam misses QB. Sexy misses QB.
Gut didn't even
Why
put
did
it
you
in
do
for
that?
the QB.
You have buys or just a
I'm just praying up I
can
can trade him for any wide receiver help this week.
No, I think that's a good move. I will say, though, like, all these teams that have bid on Tommy DeVito, I tried trading them Derek Carr. I've tried trading them their own handcuffs, and they do not budge on anything.
It's just whiff
Yeah.
after whiff after whiff.
Dude, like, Nick Chubb was genuinely the best option I could get for Derek Carr.
Jesus.
You know, and then, like, I might have dropped Jordan Mason at this point. I'm like, dude, Adam, give me anybody for Jordan Mason. He's like, the best I can do is like 15 fab. And I'm like, I kind of just don't want you to have Mason, like, out of feeling disrespected. But
That Trey Benson type money.
right. And so, I mean, you have no real need for Tommy DeVito, but, like,
Just trade bait. And I
Yeah.
have like the money to play
You
with.
had
Like,
the
I
money
have
to
the
play
You're
No.
also just like blocking 4 teams that need him, which I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
no, I do too.
I'm shocked Gut not even in the top 4 bids.
I literally just put $25.
That's actually insane. Only
18.
18?
He also is in like a position where he could lose and it does not matter. So that's probably
Yeah.
why.
Well, I mean, okay, so he is 2 games above. He's in second place, and he's 2 games above, like, any third-place team, so he does have a bye.
He's
almost.
2 games above, just like
He has 8 wins. The next
Yeah.
is, like,
6.
5 teams with 6.
Wow.
But, like, I mean, you forfeit 1 game not playing a quarterback or a super flex. Like, it could get dicey
you
down
need
the
one
stretch.
QB on your roster
Yeah.
to put in the QB slot for sure.
Also, like, if T-Law is out the rest of the year, you're not going to want to play Tommy
that's probably
DeVito
the
over
difference
Mac
of him
Jones?
like having a championship team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Tommy DeVito might just be as bad as Mac Jones, but you probably want the option. I mean, down the stretch,
Tommy
like,
DeVito's like Bryce Young right
Yeah.
now. I think like people conflate Tommy DeVito because he won a bunch of games with like he had some good
I feel
rushing
like he
games.
scoots a little bit.
He does. He has some a little bit of rushing upside for sure. But normally he's throwing for like $160 or $170.
yeah.
Yeah, but who knows? With neighbors, like it could be a
Yeah.
little like if that becomes 190 and he's still run. I don't know.
The other thing, I'm pretty sure DeVito's and the Giants' schedule down the stretch is like you have Dallas, New
very
Orleans,
good.
Baltimore, Atlanta, Indy. Like,
Yeah.
you could fuck around.
It's a
and
great schedule.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
Geno
J-Mo just
catching
might
the
have picked up the
bench.
league winnies.
Yeah, Tajay
Facts.
though.
you know what
That's big.
you know what you actually could do is because he's your 4th. Maybe that gives
Package.
what?
Like him and Drake.
Maybe. I was more
Damn.
just like you could trade Drake and then you have DeVito as like break in case of emergency. You know.
True.
Because you're undoubtedly going to get way more for Drake. Like, you might literally get nothing for
I was
DeVito.
kind of already like open to selling him, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
Who was the other quarterback?
Gino and Kyler.
Oh yeah.
Saw Kyler in New York this
That
week.
pizza review?
Yeah, he was at Joe's.
Yeah,
by my
I saw the
apartment.
clip. It's funny. It's like, of course, that guy had no idea who
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is.
I mean, he looks like the most normal dude.
Yeah.
yeah. No, like if
People
I was
down there are not gonna like know who Kyler.
Nah,
Murray is.
definitely not. If I walked by Kyler wearing that outfit, like I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna
Yeah.
recognize
I would lose my
him.
mind if I was just walking home from the subway and Kyler was just standing outside of Joe's Pizza.
Yeah.
He wasn't a fan of it. He was kind of
No,
crazy.
I actually think Joe's is a little overrated.
No,
too.
Joe's is 100%
Yeah,
overrated.
it's very over. It's good. It's a solid slice, but it's like it's.
The
I hate
problem
when people
with
talk about how Joe's is like
1,000%. The problem is when people visit New York, everybody's like, if you're coming to New York, you got to go try Joe's, and it's like that's not the case.
Yeah,
it's not even like top
definitely
5.
not. Yeah.
It's good, but it's not top 5.
Agreed. I wanted to go and be like, Kyler, come on.
Yeah.
Let me show you the ropes, bro.
Down the street, we got Bleecker. All right, Tommy DeVito, Tommy Pizza, Cutlets, whatever you want to call them, goes to JMO.
Shout out
Will.
Will.
That's a lot of bids.
lot of bids.
Yeah, gave him max contract for 0. Didn't want to come to the squad. Zach Ertz is the next highest, going to
the
you,
GOAT.
Nick, for $11, dropping Dalton Schultz.
I feel like he's a whore. Everyone in this league has owned him at one point or another.
Yeah, and everyone's dropped like a solid 10 fab on him.
Yeah, I have Kyle Pitts on a bye this week. Ertz has Dallas. It's just like it's nothing I'm saying matters at all. But this was one where I was like, I just have to make sure I get him, and I'm like, no one's gonna put like $14 on Zach Ertz.
I think that's fair. Dalton Schultz plays who again? Tennessee.
Yeah. It's
Kinda-
just like
it's
I
a
don't
tough
give a
one
fuck
match.
about Dalton Schultz. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I picked
for
him
sure.
up strictly to block Casey from having a
Right.
tight end for Monday.
Yeah.
It's a go-to move.
Did anyone else bid on Zach Ertz?
Nope.
I
So
just figured he was the top of the list on tight ends. He was projected like 10 points. I was like, someone else is probably going to try to get him. So
and then you also got Alec Pierce for $8. Drop Juju. I think it's a great ad. Always respect Alec Pierce play.
yeah, I mean, they played Detroit. The over-under is like over 50 at
Yeah.
this point. And right now I have Higgins on bye, Pitts on bye. So I'm like down. I have to play like Leggett, I think. And with like Thielen and Coker coming back / emerging, I would rather take the
Where's-
upside shot on like Pierce maybe scoring a touchdown.
Where's he
agree.
on the year? Like,
Who?
Pierce?
did he sneak in like the top 24? Or
He had like a
something?
bad.
He
He's
was
34.
he was for a minute because he started hot, but I think he had too many like down games in a row in the middle. He's probably like top 36 though overall.
I feel like though, I mean he's
Jesus.
34, but like I feel like it's been a while since he like completely dudded you.
I mean, he had like 4 games in a
I
row
guess
there
so.
that were awful.
No, that's fair.
One
That's
catch.
fair.
Those are a lot of like Joe Flacco / tough defenses. And Detroit, they're like kind of a good defense. They keep getting injured though, and the over-unders are so like sky high right
If you
now.
go off like their coverage grade, one of the best, CPA per pass, one of the
Yeah.
best, but like fantasy points allowed,
Yeah,
opposite.
different
Is it just
story.
because they score a bunch and it just
Yeah.
like you have
They
to?
they have a lot of picks, which is like just like boosts their coverage grades. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
I mean,
so Pierce, I'll probably end up flexing this week and just hope that the stack of him and A. Rich like hits on a 60-yard touchdown or something.
yeah. And going against Casey's team, like probably need that.
Yeah.
Need that upside. I put in a $0 bid for Alec Pierce,
Thank
and
God.
that looks like that's all it was.
At least someone bid on one of the
Lock.
players. That's
Yeah.
not done.
Drew Lock gets picked up by Sexy, drops Andy Dalton. So Sexy believes that this Tommy Cutlet phase is really just a phase.
Sharp.
It's kind of wild.
you might want that Giants quarterback.
Wait,
Around.
is he sexy in the playoffs? Or he's
I
fighting
kind
for
of feel
playoffs?
like someone should pick up Trey Lance. That's super quarterback desperate. Like I think I'd rather have Trey Lance than
I think
Drew Lock.
there's definitely a better shot. I think as of today that Trey Lance is going to play games than Drew Lock for
Yeah.
sure. Andy Dalton at this point feels like he's not getting back on the field.
Bryce is just unbelievable right now.
Yeah.
A Chiefs defense can make that change real quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Nah,
disgusting.
it could be bad. Yeah, I mean, Sexy's rocking. He has 2 as his 1, and Cooper Rush has his 2. So it's like, yeah, not great.
What did Cooper Rush? What did he end up with last game?
Like 16
Yeah,
points.
like that's what happens with those backup guys. Like they'll have bad games, but eventually they'll just have like a decent fantasy day. And like 16, Cooper Rush versus like Patrick Mahomes, like 16.
Right.
It's like dumb as fuck.
I picked up Zamir White for $0. Dropped Jordan Mason.
Damn.
Again, like I don't know how you got $20 for Trey Benson because no one gave a fuck about Jordan Mason, and
It's the art of negotiation, brother.
I guess so. Just throw it in the group chat.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants him?
You've got to corner J-Mo and make him feel like he's got to make a move.
Yeah. But Alexander Madison tweaked his ankle last game, didn't return. Zamir White also got hurt, but I just kind of feel like
So Amir.
there's a better chance Alexander Madison misses more than Zamir. There's a chance that both of them miss, but like I kind of feel like Madison is leaning towards not playing. So I don't know. They both feel like handcuffed running backs, and like at least Madison's already questionable.
Denver's tough though.
How
I
much?
wonder like who scoops up Mason now.
Dude, that's what I was going to bring up. Like, someone's going to drop like 20 fucking fab on Mason.
Nah, no one ever does like big Thursday, Friday spends, even if it's a player worth getting for a lot of money. So I feel like the most ever spent on a player on those days is like 40.
I guess so. You might be right. But I just kind of feel like someone's going to pick up Mason and drop a dude that I literally like offered in a trade.
I don't know how much fab Andrew has left, but Andrew feels like a dude that would spend like 20 on Mason right now.
Sexy picks up Jalen Coker for the free. I like it a lot. He has a chance of being relevant down the stretch, I think. Panthers also, I believe, have an easy schedule going forward.
Play the Chiefs this week, I'm pretty sure.
They do play the Chiefs, but then they got Tampa, Dallas, Arizona, Tampa. And then that was the last successful waiver claim.
So no one got Westbrook?
It's like he was
No.
busy this morning.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jalen Coker.
Very interesting.
Interesting.
We got anything we want to talk about?
I was so woeded.
Let's
That was
trade.
terrible.
That was so
Who wants
Who
to
wants to
trade?
trade? I love
Who wants
trading.
Drake May?
I
For
kind of
what?
do.
All right, let's talk.
Let me look at my incredible team.
Here's like a starting point that I wouldn't go lower than. It would have to be something like AJ for Drake and Jaden Reed.
I would,
Say AJ for Drake and Jaden Reed. Accept that. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
if I'm JMO, I'm slamming it.
about-
But like,
Just starting negotiations there. I think it's fair on both sides.
I think there's a chance Jaden Reed is just like nothing special.
What about Drake and Waddle?
This is where negotiations just go to
Yeah.
shit.
I will say though, like Jaden Reed and Waddle feel like similar players, but like Reed has the upside to bounce back. Waddle feels like he's just cooked this year.
Power. It's all about power. Week 11 just finished. Another edition of the power rankings. Maybe the last one. We're getting pretty late into the year, so maybe I'll do a playoff predictions right before the playoffs start. But it's sad to see how fast the fantasy season has gone. Let's jump into some power rankings. Again, tier of his own, hasn't changed. It's Casey. His team has just been dominant all year. He is absolutely the team to beat. But usually, I'm not saying this will happen, but a lot of the times when you got a team like this that's dominating so much in the regular season, they get that bye, the first seed, first round of the playoffs, boom, they lose to some team that gets hot. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like it happens a lot. KC will be a very tough team to beat though. Second tier, we got Guts staying at number 2, and new addition to the second tier is Andrew. Guts' team, like Casey's, has been hot for a while. Burrow and Chase just continue to dominate for him. That duo is just one you never want to be playing against. And yeah, last power rankings, I said Zay and Lamar are almost as good, or if not better, and then they put fucking a million points on me. So sure, Burrow and Chase are better. Guts' one issue is Trevor Lawrence could potentially be out for the year. And if that's the case, his QB2 is rough. Everything else on his team looks pretty damn good, but QB2 might hurt him a bit in the playoffs. And Andrew moves up to 3. I think, to me, this tier is like locked into the playoffs. There is a chance Andrew misses still if he goes 0-3 and Jack goes 3-0, but I just don't see that happening with how good Andrew's team looks right now. It looks significantly better than it did earlier in the year. His running back room of Saquon and Mixon is just going to put up 40 points every week combined, if not more. Puka is a great wide receiver 1 to have. Hawkinson, considering how bad a lot of tight ends are, pretty good tight end 1. And his QB room is looking a little better too. Bo Nix is improving rapidly throughout the season, high rushing upside. I think Andrew is a serious contender to win the whole league. Moving into the third tier, these are teams that are still in a dogfight to make the playoffs, but I think eventually will. And that is JL at 4, JMO at 5, Adam at 6. I managed to beat JL this past week. His team had a pretty rough week, but if you look at the pieces on his team, I still have a lot of faith that this will be a playoff team. He could miss, but with his points for, I'd be pretty surprised if he does. He'd probably have to go 0-3. Maybe there's a way if he goes 1-2, he misses, but probably not. He does have a lot of buys though. He's got a lot of buys in week 12 with Adams, ETN, and London. And then week 14, he's got Lamar, Zay, and JT out. So I mean, like, JL, he does have a little bit of work to do still. Easily the best team within the WOT division, though. JMO, huge game against Tony this week. If he wins, I think it pretty much secures his playoff spot with him having points 4 over Tony. Tony would have to go 2-0 in the last 2 weeks while JMO goes 0-2. I think JMO just has a better team overall than Tony does. Tony's running back room is a little sketchy. His wide receiver depth also a little bit sketchy. especially this week with both Cooper and BTJ on bye. I like JMO's odds to win this week, and that pretty much secures it for him. So I think JMO gets the playoff spot. And he's got a pretty damn good squad, too. I think he'll be a serious threat in the playoffs. Adam rounds out what I believe will be the playoff teams, and his team has bounced back. He was in a really, really bad spot not long ago. He's held on. He's still over 500. He's getting Mike Evans back. His QBs are still embarrassingly bad, but there is a chance that with how good the rest of his team looks, that's not going to matter. I play Adam this week. If he wins, he is going to get in. And with how much upside like 5 of his players have on any given week, it actually makes him a pretty high floor team, despite how bad the quarterbacks are. This 4th tier is teams that I don't believe will make the playoffs, but still can. We got Tony at 7, me at 8, Nate at 9, and Jack at 10. As I said with JMO, huge matchup between them two this week. If Tony beats JMO, it still is a little bit sketchy for him to make the playoffs. Both of them will play Nick and Casey in the final 2 weeks. Tony needs to have one more win than JMO over the last 3 weeks to make it. It's possible, but I think he's got a lot of holes in his lineup. And if I was in the playoffs and Tony made it, he'd probably be the team that I'd want to play, assuming none of the teams below him make the playoffs. The team I'd much rather play than Tony in the playoffs would be me. My team is looking really, really rough right now. I got pretty lucky with a win against JL this week. I would have lost to 7 teams in the league if I had played them instead of JL. I just lost, I feel like so much upside that this team has on any given week. There are some really nice schedules down the stretch. I think the Cowboys have a good schedule, but you can't trust Cooper Rush. Neighbors has maybe the best schedule over the last 6 weeks I've ever seen. Some decent running back schedules. It's just an uphill battle for me to make it. I potentially need to go 3-0 to finish the season. 2-1, maybe, if I get lucky. But fate's still in my own hands. I just don't have faith that I will be able to do it. Coming in at number 9 is Nate, and his team looked dead in the water not long ago, but it is turning around real fast. He has won 2 games in a row. He is still technically alive in this race in the Woke division. He needs literally everything to go his way over these last 3 weeks. Every single matchup within the division has to go the way he needs it to. It might just be too little too late for Nate. If he was 5-6 even instead of 4-7 right now, I would like his odds actually of making it with how good his team is looking. The receivers have just come together. His running backs are good. His quarterbacks are good. Jonnu Smith, nice tight end pickup for him. It's just unfortunately most likely going to be too little too late for Nate. Jack rounds out this tier down at 10. Huge loss for him. If he won this past week, he would still have a decent shot at the playoffs. But now being 2 games back of Andrew, I just don't see it, especially with how good Andrew's team looks. He's even got some big buys this week with Josh Allen, Chase Brown. Mathematically, he's still alive, but I don't think Jack has any shot at making the playoffs. This last tier is last place watch and mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. We got Nick at 11, Joe at 12. Nick, I can't remember how he started. It might have been 3-2, maybe it was 2-3, but now he's 3-8. It has been a complete downward spiral over the last 5-6 weeks. He plays Casey again this week, and then JMO and Tony in the last 2 weeks. Tough schedule. I could see him going 0-3. He's only 30 points up on Joe in points for, so maybe Joe only needs one more win and then scoring 30 more points than Nick over the last 3 weeks to not be last. It's a pretty close race for who's going to be last place. And Joe, actually, this is the first time that he is last place in my power rankings all season long, despite him being in last place in the standings pretty much the whole year. I do think head to head, I would take Joe over Nick. I think his team is a little bit better, but Joe's schedule isn't that easy either down the stretch with Gut, Andrew, and Jack as his final 3 opponents. And he does still have to make up that 1 win over Nick. So I do think he still has the highest odds of coming last place and unfortunately having to do that punishment.
You guys see Woody Johnson wanted to bench A-Rod after 4 games.
Really?
You didn't see this?
There was
There was
a big. So he wanted to bench A-Rod, and then the week after they didn't bench him. That's when he fired Salah. So there was a kind of an argument of him being let's bench A-Rod. And he's like, fuck would I do that?
Remember when you ranked him inside like your top 10?
11.
Oh, sorry, top
Think
11.
I'm gonna change that based off one game?
No, it's just he's been so ass. His own owner was like, get him out of here.
His
At
owner's
that
a
point, they were
fucking
2-2.
idiot.
No, I
So
agreed,
it's like-
but
After week 4, they were 2-2.
yeah.
I was like, let's bench them.
And looking back on it, the two teams they lost to were the Vikings and the Broncos. Like pretty good teams.
And they lost the Broncos straight up because they missed a game-winning field goal.
The weather,
they're
I remember, was
fucking
awful. in
yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
Greg Zuerlein missed at least 3 winning field goals.
It's
this
like
year
every
so far.
team this year.
It's ridiculous.
Just racking up L's because they're fucking kicker.
And then the dude they brought in last game drains like a 55-yarder.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers plays next year?
The Jets don't want to bring him back.
I don't think any team will want him.
They
Is
like
that a fact?
there's been
My
like
team
report
will want him.
after they whatever.
But like
where is he gonna go?
that's what I mean. There's
He'll
no
go to like Vegas.
I don't think
It's
so.
gotta
Like,
be.
I don't even know.
There's
what
a
team.
who's a team that's a quarterback away. That's where he's gonna go. Like, is he gonna go with Mike Tomlin? Like, Russ is a free
No.
agent
No,
after
I
this
think
year.
Russ
What if he
is-
goes to like Tennessee? What if he goes to Las Vegas? What if he goes to
I-
You
fucking?
think he'll go to Vegas? You don't think they're gonna
I just
take,
don't know if you're Vegas or Tennessee, how do you look at the situation you have and be like, and then see what Rodgers is doing in New York, be like, yeah, that's what we want. Like we want to bring him,
Sure,
bring
but
him and
these
his
teams
guys
do
in
that.
to go.
Like that's what they do. Like Tennessee rolled out Ryan Tannehill for like 5 straight years. Vegas drafted Derek Carr 10 years ago and hasn't even like touched the position since. Like they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's a little like Belichick though, where like Belichick's a great coach, but I think everyone was like, we just don't want to make you like GM and part owner.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Rodgers is kind of like
What about-
requiring from.
Carolina.
Damn.
They got pieces on offense.
I mean, they do, but
You got
like,
a good O line. You signed.
but I
one
think
good
this
free
like
agent.
this is what he did with the Jets.
gonna
Like they
bring
had a
Devontae.
great Jets had a
Devontae's
great young
automatically
core.
signed.
Aaron Rodgers was like, I need to bring in my vets, and they fucking suck.
No, 100%.
Jets look
I just
terrible.
can't imagine that like he's not one of the best 25 QBs in the league.
He's not even having
in
a
the
bad
world.
year. He's like
But he's
7
not, like-
low-key
touchdowns
kinda
and
good.
7 interceptions. I
Low-key
think he's
top
thrown for like
11.
2,400
But
yards.
like
nice.
if Russell Wilson, after getting cut from the Broncos, was like, I need to be paid as one of the highest. I need to not be. I don't want to compete with a young quarterback. Like I need my guys. Like no one would want Russell Wilson.
I would argue though that Russ at the end of his tenure was looked at as far worse just from like a talent standpoint than Rodgers is now. I know the Jets situation has gone to shit, but I'm more in agreement with J-Mo than I am with like the way people are painting Rodgers now. That
I still think he has some left in the tank. Where I felt like when Russ was, I know his numbers are okay, but I kind of felt like Russ was completely given up on by a lot of people in the league.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
Rodgers
guess
has
that's
got to
fair.
that point.
But I just think Rodgers at this point, it's like the baggage just outweighs any talent. He
I
has
think like
left.
90% of the teams are like, we're out. Like we
Yeah.
want no part of that. But I do think there'll probably be like a team or two that was like, our situation sucks and this is our only out to maybe make it better.
There's always that one drunk guy at the bar who goes for the crazy chick, being like, "Oh, this is so free."
This is a layup.
yeah, this is a layup.
Rodgers go to the Dolphins.
No, like absolutely
know.
not.
Rodgers.
I'm just looking at. I'm
Tyreek.
looking at teams like on the.
There's not many good options. I truly think Steelers is an insane take.
You think they're gonna get
I
rid of
think
Russ
so.
after this year? Even if
All it
it's been
takes is
like-
Russ to suck ass in the playoffs, and like, yeah, we have 0 ties to this guy.
Yeah, but I feel like going to Rodgers is stupid. Russ has
Yeah.
played like
Russ has
kind of
been
cool for
cooking.
them. Yeah,
Russ has played
We
better
say
than
that now.
A-Rod and
We
has
say
none of the baggage.
It's been 4 weeks.
that's fair. But this feels more. This doesn't feel like a fluky. Russ has played bad or played well. Like Justin Fields, even when you were watching him and he was like playing well and they were winning, you're like, it's only a matter of time. But like Russ actually feels like he's running this offense well.
I think Justin Fields has a better chance of starting for a team next year than A-Rod.
Steelers' last 4 games: Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. All your minds will be changed in that stretch.
You don't
Why?
think they split when they go 2-2 in that stretch?
Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. I
I think they could
mean,
beat the Eagles.
I don't think the Eagles is out of reach. I mean, the Bengals, without a doubt, are not a
And-
better team than Pittsburgh.
They already beat Ravens once.
Yeah.
I think they get destroyed by the Ravens the second time around. I feel like it always ends up like going like it's like a close game, then one team beats shit out of them.
Maybe.
Like, I feel like Russell Wilson had to humble himself to become a Steeler. Like, Mike Tomlin is not putting up with A-Rod.
I
Yeah.
feel like they've like had several press conferences where they like talk very highly of each other.
Who?
Rodgers and Tomlin.
I mean, sure, they're two guys at the top of the game. I'm sure they like respect each other, but
I think he's just gonna stay.
The Jets, I
No.
don't think they're gonna. The Jets have no idea what they want to do. Every year, it's like something different.
yeah, but they'll have like a meeting. We'll get a report in like April. Like Jets ownership sat down with Rodgers, had a great positive 7-hour
I
meeting. We're back.
The Jets need
The team
Woody,
is back.
Woody
I just-
Johnson needs to go be the
Well-
fucking like UN ambassador again.
That's what I think. I think at this point, like, the owner just doesn't want. Like, I think whoever's the next head coach and GM, you're gonna get hired with the
Yeah.
pre-notion of like, Aaron Rodgers is not here.
Where's the Jets draft pick currently?
I think they're seventh currently, and I
It's
don't
not
know
a
if they
good-
have any like.
It's not a good QB class either.
I mean, I kind of really want to see what Jordan Travis. I don't know if he's healthy yet.
Sounds like you're just saying that for your best ball teams.
My dynasty team.
Yeah,
But I actually want to see if he. I mean, he was good at Florida State.
it's fair. Yeah, but that could end up being like
I could see that being
a
terrible.
2-15 season if they like
3-8
down
right
that
now. 3-9.
It's fair, I guess. But it could be like a Zach Wilson.
Where
Where it's like this sucks, obviously being this record, but like maybe I'm wrong. But
Looking at the stats when they put up things and Zach Wilson's at the top of the stats for
Yeah,
winning
Zach
is
Wilson.
ridiculous.
that was all like those wins were Rodgers has not got the defense that Wilson had with New York. Like they're
No.
a different defense this year.
But it's like, of course, they get they get a great quarterback, and then the defense just doesn't look anything like. They look terrible this
yeah.
year.
I mean they've had a lot of injuries that
Yeah.
felt like just ruined their pass
CJ
rush. Let some
Mosley
guys go.
hasn't been playing. They got rid
I
of
think their
a couple
defense
guys.
also got worse when they fired Saleh.
Well, because Jeff Ulbrich was
He's
the defensive
actually a
coordinator.
brick. He's a
He's a-
a
Like when
cone.
he was only coaching the defense was great. But then they're like, all right, now you got to coach the defense and the whole fucking team. The guy's like, I don't know if I want to.
This might be a totally false stat, but I thought I heard that the Jets don't have an interception since firing Robert Saleh.
Their defense.
They
like,
might
Really?
not.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
I don't know if it was like interception or just turnover in general, but like
and you're playing you having a game against Anthony Richardson, and that stat is still there.
Yeah, AR had like a season high in completion percentage.
Well, like the Jets just 1,000% just sold out to stop Jonathan Taylor because they were bad against the run, and then
Yeah.
JT went like 25 for 50, and A-Rich just destroyed them through the air.
Which is terrible because you're supposed to have two shutdown corners.
Yeah.
They did fucking nothing. Sauce Gardner looks
I mean, to
terrible
be
this
fair,
year.
they went in with the game plan. It's like we're gonna let A-Rich beat us through the air, and then A-Rich beat
literally-
them through the air.
They were throwing passes, and there was like Alec Pierce wide open down the sideline for like 40 yards.
It's about to happen again in week 13.
Jesus.
Get it? 12.
It's so many close games.
That's what I mean. Like it's heartbreaking, but it's not. It's not the same as when Zach Wilson was there, and it was
No.
like you went into every game with zero fucking hope or anything.
Because watching the Jets offense with Zach Wilson, he'd just be like scrambling around, just throw an interception. I'm like,
Right.
what are you doing?
Like they're 3-8. I feel like
should've-
they should have like 6 wins.
Right.
They could have beat the Vikings. They could have beat the Broncos. Them
The-
losing to the Patriots.
The
again was
Patriots the second
ridiculous.
time, and the Broncos I think are the worst
That's
too.
awful.
Yeah.
well, Cardinals are a good team, but like they got herb stomped
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
them. Like that
Cardinals
one
beat the
wasn't even
shit
like
out
I
of
think
them.
that
No,
was
that
a
wasn't
bad
close.
That
loss.
was out of
too.
control.
That was like
Yeah.
35-7 or something like that. They
That
got,
was the Falcons Broncos
they
loss
got
too.
destroyed. I mean, they beat like after them beating the Texans, and after like the second half they had, I was like, that's what makes it so annoying watching that. They'll have like a second half against the Texans where they look amazing, and then they get their ass kicked by the Cardinals later.
I just think everyone's got to relax.
No, I
The
can't.
run starts now.
Yeah.
This is where they start. They have
All right.
a 5% chance to make the playoffs or something.
Do we want to go down the line and we can all vent about our teams? Like,
Yeah.
should we talk about the Falcons?
You want to get that off your chest?
Falcons are fine.
I'll say the Chargers are
We were-
overrated.
Overrated. Doing too much.
I had one of the
Justin
worst.
Herbert's never looked better in his life.
He's
There's
looked
just-
this past 4 years of
They're
his career.
just so well coached.
Yeah. Wait, why do you think the Chargers are overrated at this point?
They haven't beat like many good teams.
I thought the Bengals was like a stamp of a win.
If I was a Bengals fan,
But
I'd
like
be
I just
sick.
bring up the Steelers and you're like, oh, that's an easy.
What do you mean?
Like the Chargers beat the Bengals, like that's a good win. But when I bring up the Steelers having to play them, we're like, that's an easy. They can win
No,
that one.
that's not an easy win. I'm just saying I think they can win. I think they can beat the
They
Bengals.
just haven't beaten a good team. They don't have
Who are
the
their
weapons.
wins against?
Outside of Joe Burrow, their quarterbacks they've beaten it's a bad list.
It's awful. Like it's not like, oh, it's okay. First 2 wins, Raiders, Panthers. They beat Bo Nix in week 5, beat Spencer Rattler, beat Jameis Winston, beat Will Levis, beat Joe Burrow.
Who'd they lose to?
Cardinals, good. Chiefs, good. Steelers, good.
the Cardinals
All
like
3 of their
sneaky good.
toughest games they've all lost.
I will say Chargers feel like they have like such a good foundation, but they probably don't have like the top.
They're a piece or two away.
Yeah.
I don't think they're overrated. 'Cause
I don't-
It's not like people are putting them in like the
Super Bowl.
Bills or
like-
Ravens tier,
right.
in my opinion.
But I do think they
they're
are like next tier.
I think
down,
they're properly in tier number 2.
Yeah.
And I think they could beat any team on any given Sunday.
for sure. As the NFL in whole, we'll put like Chiefs, Ravens, Lions tier 1, Eagles tier 1.
Would you put Bills tier 1?
I'm not
Bills
there with the
tier one.
Eagles yet.
I'm kind of not either.
Who they play this week again?
No,
With
I
the-
am with the Eagles.
You
With
are.
the Rams.
Eagles play the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they probably win that game too. I
Okay,
need to
so-
see Philly play a team that's sound on both sides of the ball
Yeah.
before I believe that.
Okay, so Eagles aren't tier 1, but are they
I'm
like
not there yet with that.
are they their own tier 2?
Like nobody else is with them right now.
No,
they-
I don't. I think if Philly and the Chargers play, like I don't see that as like Philly's a different tier than them.
I feel like that. Yeah, it's like
They feel like direct opposites, where Philly has the talent and they just feel like a team that's coached so bad
That's
they can
well
lose
said.
to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the talent they have, if they were coached with like, I think if they had Harbor.
But after the Lions,
Herbinator.
Fucking had a stroke.
I think after the Lions, I think the Eagles are my pick in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, NFC's kind of tough. There's no like powerhouse outside of the Lions.
Yeah.
But like
Lions
if,
are
if we're
just-
doing NFL in general, like I would still put the Eagles behind, Chiefs,
I mean, there's
Bills,
like 4
Ravens.
AFC Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you put Philly against any of those AFC juggernauts, and I'm like, I don't feel like they're the favorite.
What's the Packers record? 5-4.
Dude, Packers
6-3.
actually might be like third best in the NFC, which is
Say, like,
doesn't feel good.
They're so good. Them versus the Niners is gonna be a good game this week.
It is.
Like, the
I
Niners
kind of
just
feel like
cooked.
the Packers and Niners are like evenly matched teams. Coin flips have just been going the Packers' ways, and coin flips have not been going the Niners' way.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make me feel good about playing them this week. Like our season probably ends.
You guys are like so significantly hurt though. I feel like on both sides of the ball, you start missing a lot of players.
We're hurt, and I don't think we're well coached this year, at least on defensive side.
Yeah, agreed.
Like ever since we lost D'Amico Ryans and like have done like Steve Wilkes, I thought Steve Wilkes was a huge downgrade. This dude Eric Sorensen might be like slightly worse than Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, I mean, like, who got hurt in the Super
not
Bowl?
doing
Greenlaw.
defense.
Drake Greenlaw's been still out,
Yeah,
right?
Drake,
He hasn't.
he's still out.
What did he tear?
Um,
He tore his like Achilles.
Achilles,
Dude,
I think.
yeah, Achilles like walking or
I saw-
running
I remember
onto
that
the
was
field.
awful.
That was
Like,
a
hyping
And he was
himself
such a good
up.
player.
Yeah.
You have like a lot of. I feel like Bosa's gonna miss this fucking game.
Yeah, he's pretty banged up. I just think that like as good as like Jawan Jennings has been, the dude we have no one that beats man coverage. Like defenses just play man, and then like Jawan is great at contested catches, and I think that's how he's been producing. But like he's never actually open, and then like Debo's never actually open. Kittle, I think, is
You guys need Kittle to like spread the field a little bit
facts,
for sure.
dude.
Is he
Which
playing
is-
this week or no?
I would lean
50-50.
towards yes, but I don't think it's great. Which I kind of feel like Ricky P like needs to be more integrated because I think he's the dude who beats man the best on our team, and that's how we're gonna get tested rest of the way.
It's valid.
Jawan Jennings, great receiver in terms of like his actual hands, but I don't know if the dude's like a crisp route runner or gets much separation. So I don't know. This CMC also like is just like you said, running in quicksand.
Where do you put the Texans?
It's so hard to get a read on them.
I
Texans,
mean, I know they beat the shit out of the Dallas Cowboys.
Kind of feels like they're overrated on both sides of the ball, to be honest.
a little bit, but like they get Nico back, and I feel like that could change everything.
They're
Yeah.
probably the 4th best.
If they
AFC?
had a full
AFC,
team
yeah.
like Nico and Diggs and stuff, I'd feel like their offense would be fucking amazing. But obviously they don't have Diggs, so
I kind of feel like they have so much room for error because their division feels so bad that like if they can just figure it out in like a month from now, they could be chilling. Like they
Yeah.
don't really need to have it all click in today, which is a great benefit for them.
All right, would we agree though? Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, 3 best, whatever order,
Yeah.
and then Steelers and Texans are both locks for the playoff.
I think I like the Steelers
I
over
don't-
the Texans.
I haven't I don't know like the standings like that, but
Well, Steelers are number 1 in their division. We just
Yeah.
we're gonna assume that Baltimore surpasses them. at
Texans
some
I'm not
are
even
too, right?
just assuming they both make it.
Yeah.
Leave
I think
the
at
Tex-
worst
I think
case
the Texans
Steelers are
are
wild
6-3.
card.
Texans 7-4, but their division.
Yeah. Like maybe
so
the
who are
Colts
the
make a
last
run,
2
but
playoff teams? Is what I'm asking.
in the AFC,
Yeah.
it's probably
Jets.
Chargers, maybe,
Chargers. I feel good about.
and then it gets ugly. Denver, Indy's got a shot.
I like Denver.
I would go Denver over Indy.
Miami's still
I
somehow
don't
in
know
it.
that like yeah, I mean Denver should finish strong. I just feel like the matchups that they've got the last like 4 weeks, it's like not too dissimilar from the Chargers, where they haven't played a real fucking defense, and every time they do, they get beat.
Yeah,
the Chiefs.
Denver
they should have
just
probably beat the Chiefs.
Fair,
Missed
but
the
their
field
offense is like bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like every time they play a real defense, their offense can't really move.
Denver feels like a team that's like figuring things out though, where
They're getting
Colts-
better for sure each week.
Colts feel like that Cheeto meme using as a door lock,
Yeah.
where it's like we're holding on to playoff hopes.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Like Denver feels like a more solid foundation of it.
Denver
Yeah.
feels like there's way
Denver's
more upside than the
Last 4 games are Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs.
Dude, they've had a tough
And
schedule.
like
this
Colts,
last one.
Chargers, Bengals is like the 3 teams you're competing with to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the Colts and Bengals are both winnable though, for sure.
I think Colts got a real shot.
Yeah. I wouldn't rule them out.
Bengals are like the best team that I feel like have no shot of making the playoffs.
I kind of feel like the Bengals. Is there like a percentage on them not making it? They just feel like one of those
it's
teams
very
where
high.
every week everyone's like, "Oh, they're out of the race," and then they go on like a 2-game win streak, and everyone's like, "Watch out!"
They
for the
would
Bengals.
have to. I mean, they're
I
at
think it's
7
just like
loss.
they have to win out. I don't think
Do they?
could lose
Can
again.
they get in as like a 9 and 8 team?
I don't
Nine
know.
and 8, I feel like
Mathematically, there's
no.
sure. mathematically.
They just need so many things to
Lock
fall
that
right.
A
the
lot
fuck
of
in.
shit would have to happen.
No, it's guaranteed. then.
What's those betting odds for them to win, JMO?
Like 9-8, 9-8 feels super sketch. I don't even think a 10-win season is like that great anymore with 17 games on your schedule.
I don't know. I mean, I thought that too, but like that's just how teams get in. Like the Packers got in 9-8 last year, and the Seahawks were snubbed at 9-8.
That's what I'm
Like
saying. Bengals are going to go on a 2-game win streak. Everyone's going to be like, they're back.
Were the Bengals? Oh, the Bengals.
But the Bengals have to play the Steelers twice.
Time to grow up.
I guess so. Like the easy part of the Bengals schedule was all the games they lost.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow MVP.
You guys see that stat where it's like
It's disgusting. It's
like with Joe Burrow's passing yards and like passing touchdowns, like it was like 07 Brady,
Yeah.
it was like 11 Rodgers, all these teams that went on to like basically go undefeated, and then
It's
it's
just him.
this year's Bengals.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, like the Triple Crown winner right now.
Yeah.
Or leading in every category. Nah, make the playoffs.
So NFC West, you think Cardinals win that?
No. I still think the Niners
I
figure
do
out a way.
too.
I think we're toast. I actually think Rams are a sneaky good pick because I think right now, last time I checked, like Cardinals were minus money to win it. Niners were like long shots. I think you can get like over 5-1 odds picking the Niners to win that
I
division.
do think of the Cardinals
5-1.
Over. Like I think you get like 580 or something.
for who?
The Niners, because we again, all of our losses have also been to divisions. Like we don't get any tiebreakers.
How many times have you played the Cardinals? Just once.
We've lost to the Cardinals once.
Okay.
We lost to the Rams once.
That's
We lost to
their
the
final game
Seahawks
of the
once.
year. That'd be lit.
Cardinals?
Yeah.
Cardinals.
Over
Niners.
5-1.
I'm pretty sure. I'll
Maybe
check
I'm a
again.
fucking fish, but that feels like something I have to hit right
All
now.
right, let's
The
hammer it.
Let's fucking-
Rams.
A lot of it's going to come down to this week: Cardinals versus Seahawks. Like if the Seahawks win, then Cardinals division lead's gone. But if they get it, it jumps to 7-4.
Losing to the Seahawks last week was detrimental, especially because that's a team that we've beaten the last 6 times. Like I was really.
I really
chalking that
thought
up
you
as a
guys
win.
owned the. I mean, you did.
We normally do,
Yeah.
yes. Gino just being able to run free that last drive is one of the most infuriating things I've ever seen. All right, let's look at FanDuel divisions. Okay, so the NFC West, the Cardinals are favored at -110. Niners are 3-1. Seahawks are 5-1. Rams are 5-1. So
I still don't think that's a bad value bet.
I
Bears to
think
win?
best pick is definitely Rams. Rams feel like the team that's like starting to figure things out.
Yeah, I don't trust their defense fucking at all still.
Really? I think I trust the Rams defense more than the Niners defense.
Maybe, but
I just feel like the Cardinals are definitely not going to be the team that wins this division.
Yeah, I mean they're the one I would least that value is horrendous for
Yeah.
them with this many 7 games still 6 games still left.
They still got to play Seattle twice.
Yeah.
Seattle's like I don't think Seattle's anything special, but I for whatever reason kind of trust them more than the Cardinals at this point.
too. I kind of feel like their Seattle's defense might get kind of good.
Yeah.
Kinda quick. McDonald like hunkering down. All right, so Falcons Jets Super Bowl or
Yeah. 2028.
All right, Super Bowl predictions.
Said Packers since day one, so I'll stick with that.
Lions, Steelers.
yeah, Lions were my preseason pick, so I'm
I
staying.
think you saying Lions Steelers?
Yeah, Steelers all the way. Upset some. All the
I
way
saw
through the
that
board.
meme like the Super Bowl everyone wants. I'm like, does anyone give a fuck if the Steelers make the Super Bowl?
That would be the woe.
Like
Yeah.
everyone, I think would be like, that's cool if Jared Goff and Lions make it.
Lions,
Yeah.
Bills would be electric.
But Steelers, that would be cool.
Be sick.
Lions Bills? I think those are like
That's got to be like the chalk pick right now, right?
as of what people want to see or like odds.
I mean, the Chiefs are still got.
I feel like the
Chiefs, I
Chiefs
feel like
will-
have to still be the favorite out of the AFC.
They are still the favorite.
But I just
not
mean
by
if
much.
you ask 10 people, I feel like they
yeah,
would
yeah.
pick the Bills in the fucking.
Lions. Yeah.
Bills Lions might be like a
I'm
50
gonna go
to
Lions Ravens.
45 game.
I like it. I kind of want to see the Lions win, but I think it would also hurt a little bit being like Niners were so close every year and the Lions were so bad for so long and they got one before us,
Yeah,
at least
that
in my lifetime.
They just come in and scoop
Oh,
them.
God.
That's
be
what I
right
mean. They got
once.
hot for like the last 2 years and they won one before the Niners with like Harbaugh and Shanahan and
What's their Falcons odds?
Win the
win the whole thing.
28,000.
Don't hit.
It's hard to doubt the Chiefs after seeing how like not great they were last year and still come out on top. All right. That's all we got for today. Waiver wire was dry as fuck, but we got some Super Bowl picks in there. So hopefully that made it better. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back in a couple days for a huge matchup preview that should decide divisions in your Idiot League mates.
Picture day.